Quantic Media.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another 1 vs 1 Starcraft 2 replay casted by myself. This is part 2 of a game between GareKon and GareKon. So if you missed part 1, I'm going to put an annotation at the bottom of the screen, so definitely click on that so you don't miss any of the action. So let's go ahead and jump into the game right now. And what just happened? So where we left off, we saw GareKon fall quite a bit far behind and then try to make up the difference with some Dark Templar play, but it probably wasn't as effective as he would have hoped. Actually, he did a lot of damage with it. He finds himself ahead 52 to 44 supply, but there could be an engagement here in the middle of the map. A lot of roaches coming forward trying to engage these stalkers and these immortals, but some really good force fields from GareKon, and all these immortals are doing so much damage to those roaches, but will it be enough? GareKon has so much supply right now, 154 to 113, but keep in mind GareKon putting down some more force fields, isolating as many roaches as possible, and has so many immortals. So GareKon charging back into this game, and I wasn't even able to collect my thoughts before this game got underway. It looks like 3 changelings are trying to mix themselves into this army, but GareKon will spot those, actually shooting his own sentry, but shooting his own stalker, and finally tracking down that changeling. So a little bit of confusion in the Protoss army of GareKon, but yeah, he definitely came out ahead on that engagement there. It came down to the force fields. I mean, he was able to split up and isolate enough of those roaches, and his immortals were able to do so much damage. Of course, they do that plus damage to armored units, and of course, roaches are armored. We have 5 kills, 4 kills, and 2 kills on those immortals. So definitely doing a great job in the army of GareKon. But anyway, as I was saying before, actually hold that thought. Looks like GareKon wants to do some more aggression here. So it has about 6 infestors to his name, along with plenty of roaches, but deciding to back away after all. And anyway, now that I can take a breath, let me go ahead and recap the first part of the game. GareKon fell so far behind early on. He lost that 3rd expansion, and then a lot of damage was done to his natural expansion, but then went DT. His opponent scouted the DT, but GareKon was able to do a lot of damage nonetheless with those DTs. I mean, look at the income tab really quick, 68 to 55, but GareKon was like down 55 to like 44, so GareKon has been forced to make a lot of drones here. But hold that thought, GareKon coming forward with a lot of roaches and infestors, targeting down this 4th of GareKon. Will he choose to come and engage this? Coming up to the high ground, and GareKon will just back away, perfectly comfortable with delaying this 4th of GareKon. Because keep in mind, GareKon does have the gold nicely saturated, just wants to delay that 4th, doesn't want to overcommit himself up this ramp and try to engage this wall of gateways and cannons. And it looks like this game has taken a turn indeed. Keep in mind, GareKon is trying to mount a comeback here. Will it be enough? GareKon has so many units here, lots of roaches, lots of infestors. Let's go ahead and see what GareKon is deciding to do. Does have Templar Archive down and has a High Templar out. How many? It looks like he just has 1 High Templar on the field. Yes, he does. So GareKon definitely with the appropriate response. Of course, you always want to get those High Templars if there are a lot of infestors from the Zerg RV. Of course, feedback on those infestors can be so strong. Not only eliminates the energy of those infestors, but can also one-shot them, can just make them explode into a million pieces with a simple spell. Of course, that spell is going to be feedback, and it looks like GareKon coming forward wants to delay this 4th even more, coming forward, targeting down these cannons. And where's GareKon's army? Looks like he's going to try to swing around and engage in a better position for him, but GareKon forced to cancel that once again, and GareKon could actually trap his opponent if GareKon is not careful, but GareKon is pulling back, and we could have an engagement here right now. GareKon coming forward, and there is going to be an engagement here. The concave would give the advantage to GareKon for the time being, throwing down some force fields, trying to isolate each and every one of these units, but it's not going to be enough. He's going to pull back, does not want to engage those infested Terrans right now. But GareKon finds himself ahead in supply, actually even 153 to 152, but keep an eye on that money count for GareKon. 5,000, 1,500 for GareKon to the 300 of GareKon, and the supply counts are similar here, but we could have an engagement. GareKon trying to engage up this ramp, not sure about this idea, throwing down a lot of infested Terrans, trying to get rid of these cannons, but a Colossus does come forward, trying to do as much damage as it can, frying away all these infested Terrans. GareKon warping in so many units here, and coming forward. Does he have blink? Let me check on that really quick. No, Yes, he does have blink, so could potentially blink forward to try to deal some damage on these infestors and roaches, but GareKon will eventually just back away. Once again, comfortable with delaying that third of Rocker, but Rocker coming forward may intend to do a counter here. I mean, why not? He is at 181 out of 198 supply, has plenty of High Templar in his army, along with plenty of Immortals and a Colossus, so could potentially do a lot of damage depending on the amount of feedbacks he can do on these infestors, and of course, defending on those force fields, so we could have a pretty big engagement here. Rocker coming forward with a huge Protoss ball of units, poking with the Colossus first, and GareKon coming down to meet him, changing his mind and retreating. We could have an engagement here, ladies and gentlemen. GareKon coming forward with his roaches and his infestors, along with some corruptors, but some feedbacks go on every single one of these infestors, and it's really hard to tell what is happening. The Colossus is getting taken out, but so many Stalkers and so many Immortals remain. GareKon's units are just getting decimated. Rocker blinking forward, trying to do even more damage, not letting GareKon escape, and GareKon is dwindling on the units, but Rocker backing up temporarily, not engaging with all of his units for the time being, but there we go, reminding them that they have to be a part of the battle, and at the same time, GareKon trying to warp in 4 Broodlords right here in the direct vision of Rocker. Not sure about that idea. Rocker could easily blink forward and target those down, and that is exactly what he's going to do. So GareKon losing so many minerals worth of units here, and GareKon coming forward with even more roaches, trying to deal with this aggression from Rocker. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Rocker has so many Stalkers, Immortals, and a Colossus targeting down those Broodlords. 1 Broodlord does morph in, but it's not enough. 3 Broodlords come in from the other side of the map. It looks like morphing themselves in this dead space over here, and trying to do as much damage as they can, but will it be enough? Rocker is ahead 150 to 81 supply, has 4 Immortals on the field in the front here, along with plenty of Stalkers continuing to reinforce from the back with a lot of High Templars and even more Stalkers also transferring, I'm trying to say, to that 4th base with those probes. And Rocker amounting a huge comeback here, ahead 144 to 68 supply, has the Colossus, plenty of Stalkers, a High Templar, 3 Immortals, and an Archon in this army, and also a Lone Sentry, so definitely a powerful army indeed. Has 2-3 upgrades for those ground units to the, let's see here, from GareKon, 2 Carapace, 0 melee. What's the missile like? I don't even think he has any missile units on the field. So Rocker charging forward, but GareKon trying to do a counterattack into the 4th of Rocker. Will it be enough though? These probes will immediately run away, but at the same time, GareKon's 4th and 5th will become under siege. Actually, I just mean 4th because he does not have a 5th. I mean, his 5th, I guess, would be that gold, but that is now decimated. There is absolutely nothing there. These Zerglings are going to come forward, gonna eliminate that 4th, but will that be enough? I'm not so sure. Probably not. Rocker is ahead 155 to 108 supply, and GareKon cannot ignore this force anymore. He has to engage if he wants to stay alive. This hatchery, keep in mind, is pretty low in health, so Rocker could theoretically take that down extremely fast. Rocker coming forward, targeting down this macro hatchery, and GareKon is caught with a lot of minerals and a lot of gas, not really making anything. Has 11 roaches on the way, but will that be enough to deal with this ferocious unit composition from Rocker? Has so many High Templars, Immortals, Archons, and 1 Lone Colossi, along with a Lone Sentry. And here we go, GareKon coming forward with all of his roaches and all of his Zerglings. Will it be enough to take down this force from Rocker? Probably not, but I'm not going to make any calls. I've seen crazier things happen, but here we go, GareKon coming forward. Will any storms go down from Rocker? Storm is not yet complete, so those High Templar are just for feedback, actually sacrificing themselves and pulling themselves back, but it looks like GareKon does not have enough to deal with this. Rocker has so many Colossus doing so much damage to the force of GareKon, charging forward with Archons, Immortals, Stalkers, High Templar, and Colossus. Will GareKon have enough? I don't think so. Ladies and gentlemen, Rocker charging ahead 121 to 70 supply, and GareKon is just dwindling in that unit count. Does not have much money left, only has 400 gas to his name, so can basically only produce Zerglings, but that won't be enough to deal with this army from Rocker, and Rocker just showing how much of a rock he is, excuse the pun. But yeah, taking out this army from GareKon with all these Stalkers and Archon, Colossus, and Immortals blinking to the side, targeting down that assimilator. Does not want any more gas to be mined from GareKon. GareKon does not want to give up and ends up leaving the game, so Rocker takes the game from GareKon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this game. If you like it, subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can catch me when I'm live on justin.tv/AxelToss. I also want to give a couple of shout outs. First to sc2cast.com. Definitely go check them out. basically, if you want to watch some good StarCraft, just go to that website. They upload videos every single day to that website. You'll find my cast there as well. Also, a quick shout out to WyrdCast. If you don't know about him, definitely go check out his commentaries. He's an extremely good StarCraft 2 commentator. I'll provide his link at the bottom of in the description, so definitely go subscribe to him. And guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been a ladder game in between GxGRockEr and GareKon. My name is Axel. I'll see you guys next time.